So I'm coming in with my soft vine charcoal and continuing to lay in the basic values. So right now I'm working on a shadow. I'm going to smooth that out with some toilet paper. And the tortillon or blending stump. I'm coming in and looking for shapes of lights and darks and getting that basic shape locked in and smoothed out. So with this drawing, I am using the whites of the paper, but I still sometimes have to come in and erase out a little bit with my kneaded eraser. And smoothing in, laying in. I'm looking for shapes of lights and darks, leaving the whites of the paper. I'm blocking all of this in right now so that it will have a smooth transition. Even in something like the lace, I'm looking for shapes of light and dark. There's a little bit of a light space in between these laces, so I'm trying to leave that the white of the paper. I can come back and fix it up a little bit, but I'm paying attention to where it starts to get lighter at the bottom. I'm looking for those basic shapes of lights and darks, leaving the whitest areas white. Just working on kind of that blend and getting that to fade with my blending stump sometimes. This is the shadow. It's going to be a little bit more even. However, there's still maybe some value changes within it. I'm trying to get the general values. I'm kind of cleaning up as I go. You're constantly looking to see what shapes you see and what the values of those shapes are and how they start to fade. I had realized I had forgotten this little loop, so I came in and just sketched it in. I'm kind of jumping around, just trying to get all of these basic values in so that eventually I can come over it with the charcoal pencils. Now I'm about ready to start using my charcoal pencils. So I have several charcoal pencils. I want to make sure to keep them sharp. So either using a pencil sharpener or sharpening them with a X-Acto blade and then using sandpaper to keep the pencil sharp. I'm starting with the darkest of them. So of my charcoal pencils, my darkest is a 6B. Sometimes they'll say darkest. If you only have one, you want to get like a 6B and ease up as you go. So I'm laying in the darkest areas right now with my charcoal pencil. Charcoal pencils are compressed charcoal, so they do not erase as easily as the soft vine charcoal, which is another reason to use the soft vine charcoal first, because it will help everything to look a lot more even, but it will also help you decide where you want your values to be. So I have that basic undertone complete, and now I'm working on detail and starting to lay in these darkest values. Once you get through all of the very darkest values, then you'll change your pencils, your charcoal pencil to a 4B. If you only have one, you have to make sure that you just are really easing up as you're working, just like you would with a regular pencil, like using an ebony pencil. But this is always done with using really very short, neat strokes and making sure that you keep your pencils very sharp. I'm constantly going onto my sandpaper and sharpening things up. Right now I'm actually coming in and straightening up that line with a ruler because I had already drawn it in by hand, but it just needed a little help to make sure it's a little bit more even. You could also use painter's tape, which I will do a little bit in this drawing as well. I'm coming in now and working and making that nice and even. So going over it with short, neat strokes with the compressed charcoal, which is this charcoal pencils, was going to make this look nice and even. I'm just kind of straightening that up. Use a little bit of painter's tape here. I can't stress enough, you need to keep your pencil sharp, and these have to be very short, neat strokes. So I have changed to a lighter pencil again. Remember, if you're only having one pencil, you just need to keep it really light and barely press hard. Even sometimes with this lighter pencil, I'm still not pressing very hard in these lighter areas. Going back over this with the charcoal pencil really helps to even this out. And it gives it a nice soft texture. So it doesn't just look like it's been smudged to create it. I'm starting to kind of give it that little bit of a textured surface and still paying close attention to the values with really short, neat strokes. You can start to get in some of the little texture details. Those details are really important. Sometimes they're just those little tiny shapes of value. Again, I changed to a lighter pencil. I'm just kind of working that in and working this blend. They'll create kind of like a soft overlay. And you're just going to keep continuing on with going back and forth between your pencils and softly going over it and making a nice smooth blend as you continue.